fourth graders, it's Mrs. Compton. We're going to do lesson 2.9 together. So this lesson is about going to a sea park. So if you've ever been to SeaWorld or something like that, you could probably imagine this story. And before we even read the problem, I just kind of want you to imagine going to a show at SeaWorld or a sea park of some sort and thinking about where you're going to sit. Because in some places you're going to get wet because they do all these tricks and they splash the audience, and some of the seats will be dry because it's farther away, right? So in this story, we can kind of imagine ourselves going and watching a show with dolphins or whatever, orca whales, and imagining that. Okay, so now let's read. At the sea park, one section of the stadium has 9 rows of 18 seats in each row. In the center of each of the first 6 rows, 8 seats are in the splash zone. How many seats are not in the splash zone? All right, so the first time I read this, I had to read it again because I was thinking to myself, there's a lot of information going on here. So you might need to stop and read it again. But I want you to pick out what you know for sure. So what do you know for sure in this story? So take a moment. Okay, so maybe you're saying one section has 9 rows of 18 seats. We know that for sure. Okay, so then the other thing we know is there is a splash zone situation. So if you sit there, you're gonna get wet, right? And we know that the splash zone has 6 rows of 8 seats. So it says 6 rows of 8 seats are in the splash zone. Now, here's the kicker. We're trying to figure out how many seats are not in the splash zone, right? Okay, so one way to think about this story is to really think about the whole seating area, which is kind of what I was thinking about. So the whole seating area was 9 rows of 18. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows. Okay, so that's 9 rows. Whoops, went too far. Of 18 seats. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. All right, so 9 rows of 18 seats would be the whole section that we're thinking about. So that's the first thing I'm doing, just kind of drawing it out for myself. When I actually draw things, it kind of helps my brain understand it a bit more. So you can always draw this out with me if your brain works like that too. But everybody's brain works differently, so do what's best for you, right? Okay, so we've got 9 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of 18 seats in each row. Okay, that's the whole section. Whole section. Now, what else do we know for sure? We know for sure there's going to be some splashing going on, right? So we know for sure there are 6 rows of 8 seats in the splash zone. And we know they're going to be in the front because obviously the splash zone is not going to be in the back. So 6 rows of 8 seats. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. Because my rows are going to be going this way. This is like my plan for my 6 rows of 8 seats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so I know for sure that this is the splash zone. Now, if you've ever been to SeaWorld or a sea park, that would make sense because we know that the splash zone is usually pretty big, right? So this is the splash zone. And all of this is not the splash zone. It's just extra seating in this section. Okay, and we are looking for how many seats are not in the splash zone. Okay, so our answer is actually going to be all this, right? So we're trying to find those. So what would your next move be? I want you to think about this. What would your next move be to solve this problem? I'm thinking about what I would do. I think my move personally, I think I would just find this whole thing 9 times 18, and then I would probably just subtract the splash zone. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So I think that's what I'll do with you guys. So 9 times 18, let's see. Shall I do it here? Let's see. Yeah, let's do it here. So 9 times 18. Okay. So if you've ever met me, you know I love some good mental math strategies or just distributive property for multiplication. So I'm going to take my 18 apart and make it into a 10 and an 8. And I'm going to do 9 times 10 first because that's easier for me. So that's going to go first. And then I'm going to do 9 times 8 after that. And these are my partial products. So it's a piece of the answer, right? So this will be a partial product when I get my answer there, and that will be a partial product there. And I'm going to just add them together. All right, kids, so what is 9 times 10? 1, 2, 3, tell me. You should say 90. Okay, lots of kids are like, I don't know my nines that well, but this is pretty similar to 10 times 8 with one less group of 8. So if you know 10 times 8, it can help you figure this out. So 9 times 8 equals 72. And I add those together. And the way I do that is I steal 10 out of here, make it 62, add it over there, turn the 90 into 100. Boom, now I have 100 plus 62. And that would make 162. All right, now 162 represents what? We need to think about that. So 162 is not our answer. 162 equals the whole section, all of it, including the splash zone, right? So I'm going to put a little label over here, whole section. I like to kind of use labels to keep track of my thinking. All right, now I'm trying to figure out what this is because the question is how many seeds are not in the splash zone. Okay, so now we've got to take out all of the seeds that are actually in the splash zone. So I think I'm just going to take this out, and I remember that it's a 6 by 8 array. Do you remember that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 6 times 8, I already know. 6 times 8 equals what? 48. And that is what is in the splash zone. So I'm going to just put my number over here, 48. Okay, so now I'm getting close. I know the whole section has 162 seats. I know the splash zone has 48 seats. And so I'm almost done. So I'm going to do 162 minus the 48 in the splash zone. And that is going to give us our final answer. Okay, so 2 minus 8, I'm going to borrow from the 6 here, turn that into a 5. Now I have 12 ones minus 8 ones, that's 4. 5 tens minus 4 tens is 1 10. And 1 minus nothing is 1. So I have 114 seats. So our answer is 114 seats are not in the splash zone. Not in the splash zone. Okay, there were multiple steps that we had to take. So drawing out something to help you remember what you're doing and using labels is an important thing to keep in mind as you are solving. All right, guys, I'll see you for your next lesson. Have a good one. Bye.